What is up, guys? It is the end of May. We have our first wave of spawners out here on Lake St. Clair, and I am going to go over my setup for one of the more overlooked rigs this time of year. Now, this one gets really overshadowed by your drop shot, by your Ned rig, and a lot of guys will fish a tube this time of year, but my go-to rig this time of the year is the wacky worm. So I know a lot of you guys say, oh, the wacky worm, that's a stupid rig. I'll tell you what, it flat out catches them. And I'm going to go over my setup, rod, reel, line, baits, everything, hook that I use this time of the year right now on Lake St. Clair. And if you want to catch more fish, you should be throwing this right now on Lake St. Clair. I'm going to start out with the rod that I use. So this is my favorite rod right now. This is the one I like to throw. If I'm going to grab a rod, I'm going to grab the 7-foot medium fast action Legend Extreme from St. Croix. This rod is absolutely sick. I mean, you can throw a Ned rig on it. You can throw a lighter tube on it. It's pretty versatile, but I really like it for that wacky worm. A lot of guys don't feel the bite that great with the wacky worm, so that's why I use a sensitive rod. So you keep that line tight, and with a really, really sensitive rod, you can feel everything. It's got the sick handle on it. It's grippy. It feels great. This rod just is so light. It's my favorite rod right now. 7-foot medium action Legend Extreme from St. Croix. This is the rod that I will have in my hands for the rest of May and most of June. So the reel that I'm going to be using with this rod is a 2500 series reel. You want a reel with a smooth drag. So you're going to have these fish pegged. They're going to be going crazy, jumping, thrashing their head around. You want to get them in the boat as quick as possible, get them back on their beds. You know, I don't really like fishing for bedfish this time of year, but a lot of the times we don't have a choice. And even if we're blind casting, we're fishing these fish, we may not physically be able to see them on the bed, but they are most likely on bed or they just got off. There are still a lot of cruisers. We have fish that are done spawning and they're still cruising those flats, and the wacky worm is a great way to catch those fish as well. So like I said, 2500 series reel, I'm able to cast that as far as I need to cast, and paired it up with that 7-foot medium action Legend Extreme. You have yourself a dynamite combo there. All right, let's talk about line. So I am fishing 15-pound Seaguar Smackdown gray braid. And I like the gray because it's a little bit more finessey. You don't have to worry about the fish seeing it as much, especially for those cruisers that have either kind of pulled up and are about to spawn or have already spawned, but they're not locked on anymore. Those fish are a little bit more weary. So that's why I prefer the stealth gray instead of that bright green or the pink PAX. But I am tying on a 12-pound Tatsu leader. Now, let's have a real conversation here for a second. These smallmouth are mostly on beds. Smallmouth are not like largemouth. They are going to eat anything that comes across their bed. So you do not need 6-pound leader right now. Please do not use 6-pound leader right now. And if you know your skill level and you're losing a lot of fish, breaking them off, go up. Please stop leaving hooks in these fish. We've caught so many fish this year that have baits stuck in their faces because guys aren't using the correct leader. You know, I mean, it is what it is. You don't need to use 6-pound on Lake St. Clair. Now, are there places that you need to use it? Sure. But the water is not that clean on Lake St. Clair. You cannot see 30 feet down anywhere on this lake ever. So keep that in mind when you are picking out your leader for any technique. You do not need 6 pound to catch fish on Lake St. Clair. Now that we've got that out of the way, we can move on to the hook that I use. The hook that I am using is the Eagle Claw Trokar Finesse #2 Pro V bend. Let me tell you what, these hooks are sharp. These hooks are durable. These hooks will not break, and they do not come off. That Pro V bend is just revolution. I'm serious. Like, this Pro V bend, I don't care what series it is, these fish do not come off. They don't come off. It's so good. I'm going to switch to a drop shot with the Pro V. I switched to walleye jigs with the Pro V bend. These are legit. They are sharp. They're made in America. These are the best hook on the market right now, hands down. If I'm fishing by myself and I'm chilling, I'm using these. This is what I'm using. Eagle Claw Trokar Pro V bend. It's legit. It's the best hook on the market right now. I cannot say enough good things. The clients I've been fishing with love them. They just flat out catch them, and they don't come off. And they don't break. So I don't know why you'd want to fish a different one. Another little nugget when I'm fishing my wacky rig is I am fishing a Nico. So I am going to peg my Senko with one of these Eagle Claw Laser Sharp Pagoda weights. So I prefer a 16th ounce. This is really good for 4 all the way out to 12 foot of water. I don't have any problems. And like you know, I'm using the OG, the Yamamoto Senko. Now, you can say, oh, I got this other one works just as good. Well, you know what? It's a knockoff. These are the OG. This is the reason why there's a billion different stick worms, and they are all copying this one, the Yamamoto. Now, I like to fish the OG, and it's the OG for a reason. It's been around for so long for a reason, because it flat out catches them, and it works. There's a reason why it works. These are pretty dense, so they do sink a little bit faster, which is good. And I am pegging it with a 16th ounce weight to help it just get down a little bit faster. So I am putting my weight in the skinny end of the Senko, and I'm just sliding it in there nice and straight. You don't want to go crooked and kink it or pop out. And I'm just making sure you cannot see it. You can see it there. There it is, my Senko. It's got the weight in there. Now when I put on my hook, I am going to go with the weight down and the hook up. So I'm just going to slide it in right underneath the band. I'm not going to even hook the plastic at all. And there we go. There's a billion different bands on the market. I have not found one that's better than others. You just need to have the right size. So if you're fishing a 4-inch, you need to have the right size band. A 5-inch is going to like slide on the 4-inch a little bit, and it's not going to be as productive. So you need to make sure you have the right band, the right size as far as brand and preference. I don't really have one. I just have one that fits my worm. Another reason why I choose the Eagle Claw Laser Sharp Pagoda weight is they are tungsten. Tungsten is going to be a smaller profile for the same weight as lead. So you can put a smaller size weight into your worm, and it's going to be a lot easier to get it in there, and it's going to be smaller in stature than lead. So you can fish heavier with a smaller like impact, I guess, as far as your action on your worm. If you have your weight sticking all the way up to here, it's not going to give you as much action when you're pulling it back. This is just going to be a little bit more stiff. That's why I use tungsten, because it's a smaller profile and you get a better action out of your work. All right, so just a little recap. We have a 7-foot medium fast Legend Extreme with a 2500 series reel on there, 15-pound Seaguar Smackdown braid to a 12-pound Seaguar Tatsu leader. And we are using the OG Yamamoto Senko. I prefer 4-inch, 5-inch will work too. Eagle Claw Trokar Finesse number 2. And a Eagle Claw Laser Sharp Pagoda weight. I prefer the 16th ounce. That is going to do everything. If you are looking to get out on a guided fishing trip on Lake St. Clair, I have availability out in July and August. Everything in May and June is booked solid, so there's nothing left there. However, if you want to get out for a summer trip, get offshore, catch some big smallmouth, get a hold of me quickly. July is filling up pretty quick. I still have some in August available as well. Summertime on Lake St. Clair is a great time to be out there. We will go offshore, get away from the other boats, and we will catch some fish. So if you like this video, appreciate you sticking around this long. I know it's kind of drawn out. I know some of you guys will be like, it's just a wacky worm. I don't care. This is how I fish it. I fish it this time of the year. It works great, and those are what I use. So if we learn anything, stop using 6-pound leader on Lake St. Clair. Thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one.